Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Misma Passion, YouTube's premium about all things women's football. And the soap opera that is the Spanish Football Federation continues to roll in fifth gear because there's been some drama that has unfolded in the past 24 hours, and it is just very bad reading and seeing if you are keeping up with the current events. So without further ado, we'll just get right into the crux of the issue in today's video here, and we start off with the previous statement that was released by the players on strike. If you remember, the current Spanish team that was responsible for winning the Women's World Cup just a month ago, seems like longer than that, but it's just a month ago, they had unequivocally and unanimously agreed to no longer play for the national team until extensive reforms had taken place within the Spanish Federation itself, which included, of course, the resignation of the ex-president Luis Rubiales and Jorge Vilda. And of course, as I have covered in previous videos, those two individuals are no longer part of the Spanish Federation. However, their acolytes, their supporters, whatever you want to call them, they still remain within the RFEF, and as a result, these players who have decided to go on strike are not willing to represent the national team until those people have also been removed from the system, and the system itself has been completely cleaned up so that it is a very safe and equitable environment for the players involved here. Now, yesterday, the Spanish Federation released a statement that was claiming that these reforms that the players were alluding to will take place, and they also guarantee player safety and mutual trust between the federation itself and the players. And they also added that they would love for the players to answer the call should the new head coach Monte Tomze, I hope that's how you pronounce it, was to call them up for national duty here. Of course, these are the qualifiers for the Euros and the Olympics that are going on for Spain at the moment here. So in the statement it reads, quote, "The Federation itself is aware of the need to make structural changes, as the President of the Management Commission, Pedro Rocha, has already announced and has recently begun to materialize. This conviction has led to difficult decisions being made in recent days that will continue to be adopted given the conviction that a renewal is necessary. In this sense, it is absolutely essential to carry out these changes, to clarify each of the behaviors and conduct that may have occurred, and to act, therefore, with professionalism and justice, settling the relevant responsibilities in each case." And of course, you can read the rest of the statement on your screen, as you can see right now, and pretty much it's just wordplay. There's not much to go about in this statement. There is nothing concrete that is being promised by the federation. It's just lip service and essentially just PR as usual here, and there's not much you can take away from it except that it's the federation just saying, oh, it's okay, we'll definitely do what you want us to do, but just come and play for the national team, you know, everything will be fine. But again, it's really degrading, in my opinion, to treat the players like such suckers, in the sense that you're just gonna put out the statement and have everybody fooled and believe that, yeah, you will actually do what the players are asking for you to do. But I will raise my hands up and admit that when I read this statement, I genuinely thought that maybe they were trying to turn a new leaf, and I was cautiously optimistic, but unfortunately that optimism would soon be deflated, as in the same day, just a few hours later, the team would be announced by Monte Tomze, and funny enough, it would pretty much include the majority of the national team who was striking from the World Cup, as well as some other players who had refused to be called up for the World Cup, like Mapi Leon. And initially you would think that the assumption here would be the federation has talked to the players and the players have agreed to come to play for the national team, but it didn't take too long before the reality of the situation to be made public knowledge, as it turns out that not only do these players still not want to approach or play for their national team, but now they've essentially been put in a hard position here, because as a result of them being called up, they essentially have to answer the call or face a lot of legal ramifications here. And unfortunately, this just went to prove that Monte Tomse, as much as she's been the replacement for Hohenfelder, she might as well just be a Hohenfelder region here, because she's essentially put the players in this situation whereby if they don't show up, the federation can take legal action against them for refusing the call up, and it is just a nightmare of a situation for these players here, who also did reveal, well, not reveal, but publish a statement of their own, which read, quote, "The players of the senior women's soccer team want to express following the call and the subsequent press conference of the new national team coach Montse Tome the following. What was expressed in our statement of September 15, 2023 makes clear and without any doubt for another interpretation our firm will not to be summoned for justified reasons. These statements are still fully valid. During the days following that statement, we want to make it known to the public that nothing different has been transmitted to any member of the RFEF, so we expressly ask that the information transmitted publicly be rigorous. We as elite professional players, and after everything that happened today, we will study the possible legal consequences of which the RFEF exposes us by putting us on a list from which we had asked not to be called for reasons, or to explain publicly and in more detail. To the RFEF, and with this, make the best decision for our future and for our health. If it seems relevant to us to point out in this sense that the call has not been made in a timely manner in accordance with Article 3.2 of Annex 1 of the regulations of the statute and transfer of FIFA players, so understand that the RFEF is not in a position to require us to go to it. We regret once again that our federation places us in a situation that we would never have wanted." And that is the statement that has been released by the players. You can see it right now on Alexia Putellas's X/Twitter profile, as well as Mappy Leon's profile as well on Twitter/X. Now, this is pretty much a catch-22 for the players, where they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, as stated in the article, that because the call-up had been made after a designated period of time, they're essentially not bound to go given the lateness of it, because they can't really make the appropriate travel arrangements to go to camp and all that. But at the same time, they're damned if they don't, in the sense, like I've mentioned before, the legal ramifications that they can face, as the federation can essentially take them to court and go to the extreme lengths of having their professional licenses revoked, or even have the players be put under professional sanctions, which prevents them from playing football at a professional level, if any level at all. So it is a lot to go about and to think about in the situation. And to just add a further twist in the story, as much as the coach here, Montse Tome, she had not mentioned Jenny Hermoso, saying she's still not been selected because of the reasons and the issues that she had with Luis Rubiales. Hermoso herself released a statement pretty much saying everything that Tome mentioned in a press conference was rubbish, as it reads, quote, "Let me be clear, a claim was made today stating that the environment within the federation would be safe for my colleagues to rejoin, yet at the same press conference it was announced that they were not calling me as a means to protect me. Protect me from what and from whom? We have been searching for weeks, months, even for protection from the RFEF that never came. The people who now ask us to trust them are the same ones who today disclosed the list of players who have asked not to be called up. The players are certain that this is yet another strategy of division and manipulation to intimidate and threaten us with legal repercussions and economic sanctions. It is yet more irrefutable proof that shows that even today, nothing has changed. I want to once again show my full support to my colleagues who have been caught by surprise and forced to react to another unfortunate situation caused by the people who continue to make decisions within the RFEF. This is why we are fighting and why we are doing it in this way." So pretty much Hermoso just echoed the same sentiments that I have brought throughout this video so far. It is a dire situation that these players find themselves in. And as for the RFEF, it pretty much is very shameful to see them deploying these tactics. It's really low in my opinion, because it's very easy to say that yes, we want to make change, and really from the outside looking in, it is easy to make those changes, because there really is no use and no need for a Spanish federation if you're not going to treat your players right. The only reason why this federation exists and is functioning as well, not as well, but it's as reputable as it is because of the players. When you look at Spain, they are, if I'm not mistaken, the only nation in the world to have won both the men's and women's World Cup, and that's because of the players, not because of the people in the back room that decide to make these big decisions and whatnot. It's really the players at the end of the day. Yes, those people can decide to release funds to improve the resources that the players have available to them, like training pitches and all that, but at the end of the day, it's the players who get onto the pitch, play for 90 plus minutes on a regular basis, wearing their national team colors, and bring glory to the nation as a whole. So really, it is shameful to see what the federation is doing here. They are definitely employing very low and cheap tactics that they know they can use their advantage in punishing these players, which is very unnecessary, because you just need to make the changes that the players want, because those changes are not only going to benefit that current generation of players, but the future generations who will come later. Because if these players decide to let the federation do what they do and continue their ways, then the process and the cycle of just emotional abuse, strain, and health scares and everything else in between that was highlighted under the reign of Luis Rubiales and Jorge Vilda and their predecessors will just continue into the future. And at some point, like these players have done, it has to stop. They've decided that it has to stop, and it's going to stop by hook or by crook. So that's the main issue here. And you may be asking yourself, where is FIFA in all this, and where is the Spanish government? Both of them, they're just pretty much outside touching grass and not even concerned with the situation. FIFA has released no statement or shown any inclination that they're worried about any of this. The Women's World Cup page has just been releasing photos from the recently finished World Cup, which is pretty much nothing to do with anything. But ironically enough, they put a post out yesterday with Marta Cox, one of the Brazil players, Marta Cox, being helped up. And I was like, the irony behind that. But anyway, you can make an interpretation by yourself based on that picture, but that's besides the point. The Spanish government itself have made an urgent plea, I guess if you want to call it that, to the players to report to camp, and that they promise to implement some sort of action against the RFEF to make sure that this situation is finally put to rest. But I personally wouldn't hold my breath against that situation. So that is the current state of affairs regarding the RFEF and the players who are striking against the RFEF. The players are expected today to be reporting in for camp, and it's interesting to see what exactly will transpire and go behind that. But it is really a sad sight and a current sad state of affairs. News is raking, and this is just crazy because it's just chaos going on right now. As I'm recording this, there is breaking news that is actually coming out. Alex Ibaceta on Twitter, she has said Spanish players are reporting to different places, some in Madrid and others in Valencia, their training ground. Another bus drive away from Valencia and has no floodlights. The players, they have no choice but to go. So yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. My heart goes out to all those players. I mean, Misa Rodriguez here, she arrived to the Spain camp with reporters asking her, are you happy to be on the squad list? And she just bluntly said no. And that just goes to show you the current state of affairs and things. But anyway, I think I've rambled long enough on this video. I will always keep you updated, as always, on this situation and anything else going on in women's football. Follow me on Twitter /X at MismaPassionYT, because yep, that's where I am, and you'll find me making little comments there, especially regarding the situation. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.